Kimberly Lawson's desire to see businesses and individuals achieve exponential success is the driving force behind everything she does. And guess what? You're going to get to meet her and hear more about her right after this quick intro here on the Sharvette Mitchell radio show.
Whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell radio show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell radio show. Matter of fact, this is the kickoff show for 2021. Welcome to all those that are listening in live from all across the world wide web. I'm your host, Sharvette Mitchell, and we are super excited to have you here on the Sharvette Mitchell radio show, and certainly all those that are listening and checking us out in the podcast version. Oh my goodness, you might be on Stitcher and iTunes, and you might be listening from Blog Talk Radio, and then certainly those that check us out on Sharvette.com and YouTube. If you're hanging out on YouTube, youtube.com/Sharvette. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Yes. Welcome to all of those that are coming on in. Hey, Felicia, good evening. Good to see you. Hello, Dr. Kimberly. Thank you for stopping by. Hello, Sharvette. Listen, that's Sharvette Brock. My namesake, not related, but Sharvette Brock just jumped in. And I got to give some love to my mom, Betty Jean Stanley Mitchell. And of course, we can't do it without Tony M. Winston. So we're super excited to have you here. The goal of this show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And that's what we do with all of the guests that we bring forward. And today is no different. So listen, let me shout out. Hey, Yulika, thank you for popping in. This particular segment is brought to you by my power session. Yep, my 2021 calendar is open. And I have 1 hour power sessions available. Jump over to callsharvette.com. Very simple, right? Callsharvette.com and schedule your 1 hour power session so that we can laser focus in on one particular strategy for your marketing and for your visibility. Jump over to callsharvette.com. All right. Well, again, welcome. Hello, Reverend Sandra. Thank you for being here. We are going to jump in. Let me introduce the guest that we have hanging out in the virtual studio right now. That's coming up to the mic momentarily. Kimberly Lawson. She is an international best-selling author, business coach, and strategist. She's a podcast host. She's the founder and CEO of Lawson Learning Academy, LLC, which is a company founded on the basis of integrity and dedicated to helping individuals turn their entrepreneurial dreams into successful businesses. And not only that, Kimberly is also the founding COO of the newly formed National Black Media and Press Association, which you're going to get to hear all about that. Coming up to the virtual mic right now. Welcome to the show, Kimberly.
Hi.
We're so glad to have you.
Oh my God, I'm so excited to be here. It has been, oh my goodness, I don't know how many years since I've been on the show with you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Many years ago, talking about, I think you had a book release at that point.
Yes.
Wow. Well, actually, let's jump in there. You have several books under your belt. You've co-written books. And so when did the writing bug bite you?
When I was 6. When I was 6 years old, that's as far back as I can trace it, because my grandmother actually has work that I wrote when I was 6 years old. And so it started out with one-act plays. I was just very into that and just really enjoyed it. And then in 8th grade, I discovered poetry, and my life has not been the same.
Wow. So tell us about all of the books that you have, under your belt. Give us a little sneak peek of each one.
So I made my publishing debut with Silent Tears, The Trials and Tribulations of Kimberly Sherrill. I made my publishing debut in 2009 with that book. It was followed by Wet Whispers, which is book 2 in the trilogy. The third book will be out later this year, and that one is titled Naked. And so those were the first ones. And I took a bit of a hiatus with publishing. And 2020, I just decided to write all the books, I guess you could say. So I co-authored, I believe it's 5 books in 2020. And I am so honored to have earned the accolade of international bestselling author 3 times in 2020.
Wow. And listen, I gotta pop this up. That is like 2020 was just it, right? So Kimberly, this is something that people you know about this, Kim. So
yes,
so Dr. Kimberly, who you are referring to is Kimberly Lawson Roby, which Kimberly Lawson here is used to getting that mixed up, right?
Yes. So that is Kimberly Lawson Roby, and so I do get mixed up with her. And she is a very talented writer. I mean, it's really an honor to have that mistaken identity. And I did have the pleasure of mentioning that to her maybe 2 years ago. And she was honestly flattered. She's such a sweet person. When I told her about it, she was just like, she said, well, one day, hopefully they will mix me up with you. And I was flattered by that.
Oh, awesome. So thank you. It's an easy, a great comparison to be made. Great comparison to be made. And so you also help people publish their books. So Sharvette Publishing, talk a little bit about how you can help aspiring authors.
So I actually do anything from helping authors with their manuscripts to getting the book ready to be published. I mean, it's so much work. There's a lot into it. And if you are not familiar with the publishing game, it can be a little bit tricky. The other thing that people like to ask me about is, how do you sell the book? Writing the book is just part of it. But once the book is written, then what do you do? And, you have to treat a book just like a business. You have to develop a complete business plan for the book. What is your strategy to market it? How are you going to use that to open up new opportunities for yourself? And so I actually will be taking registrations into my Writers Academy later this week. It is really a 3-month process to really teach others who have on their goal for 2021 to write and publish a book. The Writers Academy is here to help you. We go from manuscripting to how to align yourself to become an international bestseller.
All right. And I think that's such a great point that people should look at books absolutely as business, because you're providing a product that you're selling and putting out into the atmosphere, into the market. But in addition, it's also a springboard. So where would you say like your books have, taken you actually?
So I will say that my books, especially in 2020, have put me in the room with others that I may not have been in the room with otherwise. So with each book, I looked at it as an opportunity to find out what others are doing, what is happening in your field. It put me in the room with people who were from almost, let's see, what was it? I think it was about 15 countries. And so because we were all working on this one book together, so I now have friends in India, multiple countries in India. I have a friend in Scotland. I have friends in Europe. I have friends in Canada. And we have all worked and collaborated together on many projects. And so when you write a book, of course, you want to tell a story. You have a message you want to share. But beyond that, the book should be, as you said, a springboard. And so you look at the book as, okay, so how am I going to align myself with this book to open another door for myself? Because even if your plan is just to write another book, you still need to have that opportunity open so that your readers are wanting more.
And they are always going to want more. So where do people go to find out about the opportunity for this Writers Academy?
KimberlyLawson.net is the best information source on all things Kimberly Lawson related. So the registration page, it will be up, as I said, Friday. And so anyone who is interested there, I also have a book online, or connect with me. If you have questions and you would like to connect, you go to KimberlyLawson.net and just fill out the contact form. And I am more than happy to speak to anyone who has questions.
All right. If you are an author or want to be an author this year, put hashtag author in the chat. It is no time like the present. It's no time like the present. If you're just popping in, hey, Carmen, we see you saying hello in the Hey Girl, Hey Coaching with Vet Facebook group. We're chatting up here with Kimberly Lawson Roby. So you also have a podcast.
Not Roby, but yeah.
All right. See? Dr. Kimberly, you got me mixed up. All the Kims. Kimberly Lawson. It's on the screen. If you're listening, if you're in iTunes, it's on the screen. It's on your phone. Kimberly Lawson. Tell us about your podcast.
So my podcast is Real Talk the Podcast. And it really came from my internet radio show. So many moons ago, I was on Blog Talk Radio, and the show, I named it Real Talk because I enjoy true talk radio. I like the conversation. I don't want to feel like I am listening to a scripted interview. I want to hear a real conversation. And so I was talking with friends, and I was like, no, Real Talk, I really do want to do this. And then my friend laughed. She's like, I think that's the name. And so it stuck. And so last year I decided to bring back, because I really miss having those conversations with people. So I brought Real Talk Radio back, but as a podcast.
I love it. And who are some of the types of people that you interview and talk to?
Anyone with a story, anyone that wants to have a conversation. So I interview entrepreneurs, writers, people with nonprofits, those who have events coming up, because I really believe that there is something that we can learn from everyone. Every time that I have a conversation with a person on Real Talk, the podcast, it enriches my life. So I truly enjoy it. So I don't have what I would say are limitations on who I would like to talk to, but it's just someone who is willing to open up and just have a conversation about their life and their business and brand. All
right. So how can we go listen? Where do we listen?
So KimberlyLawson.net/podcast. And if you cannot remember the / just go to KimberlyLawson.net, and there is a selection there for podcasts. And I have links to all of the platforms in which you can listen to the podcast. iTunes, Google Play. I am on iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spotify, Podbean. So it is there. There are many opportunities for you to click in and listen.
I love that. And for those that are authors and writers that are going on podcasts, do you have a couple tips for them?
Yes. So number one, find out the audience and the interview style of the person who's going to interview you. So you don't want to get on a show and you're unprepared to answer the questions that are asked. So rule number one is to be familiar. Go ahead and listen to a few episodes of the show prior to asking to be on the show, because you don't know if your avatar is in the audience or not, and you don't want to be caught off guard. I heard in an interview that a young lady did on a different show, and they asked her for the stats of her own particular YouTube show, and she was unfamiliar and unprepared to answer those questions. And it was like, that's one of the things where if you are not a person with the gift of gab who is able to just talk on the spot, you want to make sure that you are prepared.
Great tips there. And some of you are probably going run into your YouTube like, oh, wait a minute, what are my YouTube stats? How many listeners, how many downloads do I have? If you're just popping in, hey, welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. We're standing up here with Kimberly Lawson. Go to KimberlyLawson.net. All right, so now we transition to the National Black Media and Press Association. Why was that founded?
The climate and culture in America, honestly. So my business partner, Twanita Dozier, and I are both in media. We've been in media for many years. And it was disheartening to watch how the media painted the victims. So, and of course, I'm talking about the unfortunate incident with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and countless others who were slaughtered right before our eyes. And the picture that the media painted of the person made it seem as though they were somehow deserving of those acts. So I don't know if there's any type of dream that a person can have in their sleep where they deserve to be murdered. And so we talked about it, and the media controls the narrative. That has always been the picture. The media controls the narrative. That is why in 2000 and with the recent election with, the previous election with Trump versus Hillary Clinton, the media had decided that Hillary Clinton had won before the votes were counted. And so when it came back and the votes were counted and it was a different ending, people were upset and they were outraged. But that was, again, the media controlling the narrative. And so if the media is going to control the narrative in the Black community, then the Black community should have its own representation. And so we started it, the National Black Media and Press Association, including all forms of media. Because when we looked at other associations who were similar, they did not include YouTube. They did not include podcasters and necessarily digital magazines, but these are all media platforms that all have a voice. And so we want to unite all of those platforms together in one location and offer them resources that will help to give equity to Black media personalities.
All right. And certainly the new media is just as valid as traditional media is. Absolutely. And so you have the Black Media Summit that's coming up. My phone will just almost fell, y'all. This is reality TV and radio here. You have the Black Media Summit that's coming up. Talk to us about that.
So the Black Media Summit 2021, this is the first of what will be an annual event. And we have various media personalities, including the very lovely Sharvette Mitchell, who is not only a founding member, but she was also nominated for our awards that is coming up in March. So the National Black Media Association's Black Media Summit will be January 31st at 1 p.m. and it will be virtual. And so we will have we have an MC who's going to just give us a little bit of comic relief, and each person will speak about the power of Black media and why those platforms are necessary. And those of you who have a platform, why you need to, continue using your own unique voice to just put your message out there, because it's important. And so also during this summit, we are going to announce the semi-finalists for the awards that we are having, which again is the first of what will be an annual award ceremony.
All right. A lot of juicy nuggets that we're going to get into after a quick commercial break. So we have given you an appetizer, and we're going to dig a little bit more into that. So Kimberly, I'm going to let you hang out in the virtual green room while we take a quick commercial break. All right. Again, welcome if you just popped in or you're just listening in. I'm Sharvette Mitchell, the host of the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, and online strategist that is very focused on your visibility and the marketing of your personal brand and platform. And we are excited because this show is all about motivating you to do some other things. So we are going to have a quick commercial break. We're going to be right back. You're going to get to hear more from Kimberly Lawson. your website should feature your brand colors. Now, if you're saying, Sharvette, I don't even know what a brand color is. Typically, your brand should be represented by 2 to 5 different colors that you use on a consistent basis. So when I arrive at your website, I should know what your brand colors are, because every page on your website should be in your brand colors. And so number one, make sure you select 2 to 5 brand colors. And you can work with a branding strategist to help you do that. Then you want to make sure consistently throughout your website, whether that's your logo, whether that's graphics, anything that you use throughout the site should be in your brand colors. Now take it a step further, your social media graphics, your business cards, your retractable banners, all of those should be in your brand colors, because all of those things lead people back to your website, and you want to make sure it's a consistent flow for your customers and your clients. If you want to get more information about me, follow me at sharvettemitchell.com. All right, that's our quick commercial break. And again, this segment is brought to you by my 1-hour power session. Yep, you can schedule that at callsharvette.com. That's directly. You can still get to it from sharvettemitchell.com, but a direct link is callsharvette.com for you to schedule a 1-hour power session. My calendar is now open for 2021, and we'll focus on one key strategy for your visibility and your marketing. All right, so let's bring Kim back up to the virtual stage and back up to the virtual mic, and let's continue this conversation around the speaker. So I'd love for you to share a little bit more. I know that comedian Wendy Lee is the MC, who is amazing. She may listen to this, watch this a little bit later, but tell us about each of the other speakers that are going to be there.
Okay, so as you stated, Wendy Lee will be the MC. Of course, Sharvette Mitchell and her, 13, 14 years in media. So we also have Tawana Godwin, who will be a speaker, and she is just a powerhouse in the Black community as far as media as well. In the Philadelphia area, we have Mr. Jermaine Moody, who has been in media for over a decade, and he is out of Atlanta. And we also have Jakia Miles of Pretty Women Hustle, which is just another powerhouse media platform, has digital and print magazine, as well as a community. So, and then of course, Twanita Dozier and myself, we will also be addressing the audience during this summit.
All right, wonderful. And question, is this free? Is this a charge? How does that work?
This is a completely free summit. And so anyone who wishes to attend, if you would just visit our website, which is on the screen, www.ndmapa.org, and go to the events page, and you are able there to register for this free event. And there's a link there to vote on your favorite media platforms, because voting is still open until January 21st to select the semifinalists for our award ceremony.
Wonderful. We have a question coming in from Miss Rita Moore, hanging out over in the Facebook group. Hey girl, hey. And so how do we nominate someone for an award? Is the nomination process closed? Is it open?
So great question. So the nomination process for the 2021 awards is closed. That actually, we had it open from September to November to accept nominations. And so at this time, we are not accepting anyone else as a nominee. However, we still encourage everyone to register for the event and support the award ceremony. And if you join our mailing list, you will be notified later this year when we are accepting nominees for the 2022 awards.
All right, there you have it. There you have it. And so the award show, is that going to be in person? Is that going to be virtual? When is that? All the good deets.
So we actually wanted to have an in-person award ceremony. Unfortunately, it's just not safe right now due to COVID. And if you follow Twanita Dozier online, you know that she is expecting her first baby this year. And so all the cards just align to make it a virtual event. So it will be held virtually in March. And more details about where that will air and all of those things will be posted later on the website after we announce our semifinalists.
All right, there you have it. And so we're coming up to the wrapping up here on the show. Where can people connect with you on social media?
So I am on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Lawson Learning Academy. And so that's a lot to put in. If you go to KimberlyLawson.net, I have connected my social media so that you are able to connect with me. But if you search Lawson Learning Academy on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, I can be found there. And I am on Clubhouse, and you can follow me on Clubhouse at Coach K. Lawson.
All right, all of the great connection points. Thank you so much for stopping by the show, and wishing you much more continued success in everything you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me. Everyone have a wonderful evening.
All right. There we have it. I know. Time has flown by. Those of you that are listening and watching live, and even if you're listening to the podcast, you're like, wow, that was quick. But we are excited, as always, for the lineup that we have for 2021. The show is booked out through the end of March. So we are really excited about all of the interviews and the guests that we're going to be bringing to you. Again, if you hang out at Sharvette.com, that gives you all of the details and the deets about our guests. So you can see Kimberly's full bio and all of that information there. You can listen to past interviews. You can see what's coming up. So Sharvette.com is a great place to hang out. And iTunes, if you caught this in iTunes, go ahead and subscribe. If you're hanging out on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. Periscope, we love you. We know you're going away at the end of March. So faithful Periscope listeners, if you don't want to do Facebook or anything else, YouTube is always a place to go and hang out. So hang out with us on youtube.com/Sharvette. And guess what? You're going to get some other good things over there too as well. All right. That's going to wrap up today's show. Again, thank you so much for being here as we motivate, excite, and influence you in all that you're doing. It's a wrap for tonight. Have an amazing rest of your week, and we'll see you later here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Bye.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Catch Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.